start off with emergent spelling, which refers to the writing of children who are not yet reading conventionally and have usually not been exposed to any sort of formal reading instruction. They typically range from about 2 to 5 years. You'll notice this stage is divided into a series of landmarks, starting off with drawings that have no apparent letters, and the writing and the drawing are all part of the same picture. The next picture, you'll notice there is a small attempt at writing down on the bottom left, where they have understood the separation between the word and the picture. As they become more aware of letters, especially in their names, they start to pay attention to sounds in the words, and they may begin to memorize important words such as mum, dad, cat. The next stage is called the letter name alphabetic, typically between the ages of 5 and 8, and this is where children start to use the name of the letters as clues to their sounds. Throughout this stage, children are learning to segment the sounds within words and to match appropriate letters to those sequences. For example, here you can see the letters Y and N that this child has used to spell the word when. Now, the student is obviously relying on her knowledge that the letter Y, with its W sound at the beginning, she thinks would be the way that you would start the sound of the word when. The W of Y for the W of when. As they develop, the stage usually shows dramatic growth over time and is divided into early, middle and late stages. For example, in this one you can see they're starting to spell words like will and but using their phonemic awareness, but words like great and time are showing the limits of their phonetical spelling, even though it sounds completely right. Great time. The next stage is the within word stage, which tends to last from around ages 7 to 10, although many low-skilled adults will remain at this stage. In this stage, students can read and spell many words because of their automatic knowledge of letter sounds and short vowel patterns, and they're starting to move away from the sound-by-sound approach to spelling words and beginning to include patterns or chunks of letter sequences. They study words by sound and pattern simultaneously in this stage. And as their knowledge of spelling patterns grow, for example, the E at the end of a word and how it changes the vowel sound, they are also beginning to explore homophone spelling patterns such as bear and bear, or deer and deer. The next stage is called syllables and affixes. It's typically achieved in upper primary between the ages of 9 to 14. Here students are spelling words of more than one syllable and are starting to explore how those syllables are connected. They tend to spell most one-syllable words correctly, but in the example here you can see they're trying to spell the word hiking, and they've taken the word hike and added ing on the end, which shows where they are in their understanding of joining two syllables. They obviously have not yet learned the rule about taking off the E when adding ing onto a verb. Towards the end of the stage, they also start exploring prefixes and suffixes and looking at similarities between words with similar starts and ends to their words. For example, students might notice how the prefix dis changes the meaning of appear in the word disappear, and they can connect this to other dis words and begin to start making generalizations about new words. As a result, they're learning more about English spelling as they're enriching their vocabulary. And the final stage, derivational relations, is typically found in middle and high school, although some students may move into it in grades 4 or 5. And this is where students explore how words are derived from base words and word roots. They start to see connections between words that, although spelled differently, are derived from the same root word. For example, this child has misspelled the word different, and that would have been helped by her understanding that it comes from the root word differ, D-I-F-F-E-R, which would then affect the way that the word different is spelled, even though the sound is different. For example, the word favourite comes from the word favour. So they're starting to see that words are related in meaning, often related in spelling as well, even if the sound might be a little bit different.